Hey there, do you ever feel like life is pulling you in 100 different directions, leaving you stressed and unsure where to direct your energy? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. That's why today we're exploring 7 Stoic DON'Ts for a better life in 2025. Practical principles to help you cut through the chaos and live with more clarity and purpose. In our fast-paced, always connected world, it seems like there's always a new crisis to manage, another task demanding your attention, and unrelenting pressure to stay ahead. It can feel like you're just barely keeping it together. But here's the good news. Stoicism offers a timeless solution. Unlike quick-fix approaches, Stoic philosophy empowers us to shift our perspective, fostering resilience, focus, and inner peace. These aren't abstract theories. They're actionable strategies you can start applying today to rethink how you approach challenges, make decisions, and live more intentionally. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss videos about creating your most intentional, fulfilling life. Ready to take charge and step into 2025 with confidence? Let's get started. Don't forget the bigger picture. It's easy to get bogged down by the demands of everyday life. Meetings, deadlines, errands, they pile up, vying for your attention and leaving little room to breathe. But when you stay consumed by the hustle of daily tasks, life starts to feel confined. You lose sight of the reasons behind your actions. Stoicism reminds us to lift our gaze beyond the immediate and focus on the bigger picture. What truly matters to you? What kind of life do you wish to lead? The Stoics had a profound way of keeping this perspective. Memento mori. Remember, you will die. While this may sound grim at first, it's actually a call to live with intention and fullness. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on mortality, writing, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." The point isn't to dwell on death, but to use it as a tool, a reminder that life is brief. When you truly grasp how fleeting your time is, you're less likely to waste it on what doesn't matter. Think of life as a camera lens. When you zoom in too close, all you see is a chaotic blur. The unanswered email, the messy kitchen, the frustrating traffic. But when you zoom out, the bigger picture comes into focus. You remember what's truly significant. Your relationships, your health, your personal growth. The chaos fades into the background, and what matters most moves to the forefront. For many of us, losing sight of this broader perspective doesn't happen overnight. It's gradual. We say yes to too many commitments or pursue goals misaligned with our core values. One day, we wake up to realize we're busy, yet unfulfilled. To avoid this, make a habit of pausing and reflecting. Ask yourself, am I spending my time on what truly matters? Are my actions aligned with my values? Reflection doesn't require hours. A few minutes at the end of each day, or a dedicated hour each week, can make all the difference. One practical way to stay focused on the bigger picture is to create a life values list. Write down what matters most to you: family, creativity, health, service, or anything else meaningful. When you feel overwhelmed or pulled in too many directions, revisit this list. Let it serve as your compass. If something doesn't align with your values, ask yourself if it's worth your time and energy. Living with the bigger picture in mind doesn't mean ignoring life's smaller tasks. It's about balancing the details with a sense of purpose. Even the mundane becomes meaningful when it's connected to something greater. Your daily actions, no matter how small, are the foundation of your legacy. As 2025 unfolds, let the small moments align with your greater purpose. When you focus on what truly matters, life becomes richer, fuller, and more meaningful. Don't resist change or cling to the past. Change is one of life's few constants, yet it's often the hardest to embrace. We hold on tightly to what's familiar, relationships, routines, old versions of ourselves, believing that if we cling hard enough, we can stop time. But resisting change doesn't prevent it. It only leads to suffering. Life moves forward with or without our consent. Stoicism teaches us that growth comes not from resisting change, but from adapting to it with grace. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully. Loss is nothing but change, and change is nature's delight. His words are more than a call to accept change. They are an invitation to see it as an opportunity. Nature itself is a testament to the beauty of change. Seasons transition, rivers flow, trees shed their leaves, all without fear or hesitation. This is simply the natural order, When we resist change, we resist life itself, trapping ourselves in frustration as we yearn for the past or fear the future, instead of fully living in the present. Imagine life as a river. You can cling to the banks fighting the current, but this leaves you stuck and exhausted. Or you can let go and flow with it, trusting that the river will take you where you need to go. Letting go doesn't mean you lose control. It means shifting your focus to steering rather than resisting. Embracing change allows us to see possibilities we might otherwise overlook. A closed door could lead to an open window. A loss might create space for something new. Acceptance doesn't mean you have to celebrate every change. It's natural to grieve what was or feel uncertain about what's ahead. But resisting reality doesn't make it any less real. It only delays your ability to adapt. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" This shift from resistance to curiosity can transform your experience of change. A practical way to cultivate this mindset is by reflecting on past changes in your life. Recall a time when something you feared, like losing a job or ending a relationship, led to unexpected growth or new opportunity. This reflection reminds you that you've adapted before and can do so again. Another helpful practice is grounding yourself in the present. When change feels overwhelming, pause, take a deep breath, and focus on what you can control right now. Often, all you need is to take the next small step forward. Clinging to the past may feel safe, but it keeps you anchored to something that no longer exists. By letting go, you make space for the new. Change isn't your adversary. It's a natural rhythm of life. As you move through 2025, embrace the uncertainty that comes with change. See it as an opportunity to grow, evolve, and become something greater. Let go of the past and step into the future with an open heart and mind. Don't lose sleep over things you don't need. We're often led to believe that having more will make us happy. The latest gadget, a bigger house, an overflowing closet. These are sold as symbols of success, markers of a life well lived. But if that were true, why do so many of us feel restless despite having so much? Modern life pushes us to accumulate endlessly, but Stoicism teaches a different truth. Contentment doesn't come from having more. It comes from needing less. Epictetus, one of Stoicism's most profound voices, put it plainly. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. The more you acquire, the more you must manage, maintain, and protect. Instead of owning your possessions, they begin to own you. The cycle is familiar. You buy something new, feel a fleeting satisfaction, and then find yourself wanting again. It's an endless chase, exhausting and distracting from what truly matters. Picture your life as a garden. If you overcrowd the soil with too many plants, the beauty of individual blooms gets lost in the chaos. The same happens when your life is filled with excess. It becomes harder to appreciate the things that genuinely bring joy or meaning. Simplicity, on the other hand, creates room for clarity, gratitude, and peace. It's not about deprivation, but about creating space, physically and mentally, for what aligns with your values. So, how can you step off the treadmill of accumulation? Start by asking yourself a simple question. Does this add value to my life? Before making a new purchase, pause and reflect. Is this solving a real problem? Or is it just filling a temporary emotional gap? This mindset shift can also apply to the things you already own. Look around your space and ask yourself how much of it you truly use or appreciate. Chances are much of it is just taking up space and draining your energy. Decluttering isn't merely a physical act, it's mental as well. When you let go of what you don't need, you lighten the emotional weight of excess. Start small. Tackle a single drawer, a shelf, or a corner of your home. Notice how it feels to create order and simplicity. Once you begin, you may find it surprisingly liberating. And don't stop with physical possessions. Reflect on your commitments, relationships, or habits that no longer serve you. These too can become clutter that drains your energy. Letting go of what's unnecessary in these areas can bring clarity and focus. The beauty of needing less is that it reveals a sense of abundance. When you focus on what truly matters, relationships, meaningful work, personal growth, you realize you already have more than enough. As 2025 unfolds, let go of the urge to chase after everything. Embrace the freedom and richness of simplicity. By needing less, you'll discover that you have all you need to live a full, meaningful life. Don't be a slave to your emotions. Emotions are incredibly powerful. They can inspire us to achieve greatness or drive us to make decisions we later regret. In moments of anger, fear, envy, or despair, it often feels like we're at their mercy, swept up in a storm beyond our control. But Stoicism offers a different perspective. Emotions don't control you unless you allow them to. They may arise naturally, but it's your response that defines their impact. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This insight is essential when dealing with emotions. Feelings are fleeting. They come and go. Yet, when left unchecked, they can dictate our actions, strain relationships, and cloud our judgment. The Stoics believe that a well-lived life requires us to observe our emotions without being dominated by them. Think of emotions like a wildfire. Left uncontrolled, they can spread rapidly, destroying everything in their path. But with awareness and the right tools, that fire can be contained and even harnessed for warmth and light. The goal isn't to suppress emotions, but to understand them. For instance, anger might signal an injustice that needs addressing, but reacting with rage rarely solves the issue. Fear can alert you to potential danger, but being paralyzed by it stifles growth. By pausing to reflect on what your emotions are telling you, you regain the power to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Mastering this starts with a simple pause. The next time you feel overwhelmed, whether by frustration during an argument or anxiety before a big decision, stop and take a breath. Count to 10 if needed. This brief pause creates a crucial gap between the emotion and your reaction, allowing you to approach the situation with clarity. Ask yourself, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Is my reaction helping, or is it making things worse? These questions shift your focus from the emotion itself to a constructive response. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of perspective. When emotions feel overpowering, it can help to zoom out. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of the insignificance of most troubles in the grand scheme of life. A frustration today might be irrelevant tomorrow, and a fear that feels insurmountable now will likely fade with time. Keeping this broader view can diminish the intensity of your emotions and help you act from a place of calm. Perfection isn't the goal. No one masters their emotions entirely, but every step you take toward managing them is a step toward mastering your life. By choosing how you respond instead of letting feelings dictate your actions, you gain freedom and strength. Don't ignore the present moment. It's so tempting to exist anywhere but here. We replay the past, analyzing what we could have done differently. We obsess over the future, imagining every possible outcome, both good and bad. It feels like worrying or overthinking might grant us some control over what's already happened or what's yet to come. But in doing so, we overlook the one thing we can influence: the present moment. Stoicism reminds us that life is lived only in the now. Seneca, in On the Shortness of Life, wrote, "The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately." His advice echoes across centuries and lands firmly in 2025, where distractions pull us away from the present at every turn. Hours vanish as we scroll through screens, missing the beauty of life happening right in front of us. We tell ourselves we'll act, connect, or live fully when the right moment comes. But those perfect moments never arrive. They're already here waiting for us to notice. Think of the present moment like a gust of wind. You can't hold on to it or chase it once it's gone, but if you pause to feel it, it reminds you of one undeniable truth. You're alive, right now. The present can feel ordinary, even insignificant, but it's where life truly happens. Focusing too much on the past weighs you down with regret, while obsessing over the future freezes you with anxiety. Grounding yourself in the moment frees you to appreciate the extraordinary details of life: the warmth of sunlight, the sound of laughter, the simple act of breathing. When you're present, life feels lighter. You're no longer burdened by yesterday's baggage or paralyzed by tomorrow's uncertainties. Instead, you're focused on what you can do today, this hour, this minute. Being present doesn't mean ignoring the future or forgetting the past. It means not letting them control you. The past becomes a lesson, the future a possibility, but the present remains your only reality. So how can you anchor yourself in the now when life pulls you in so many directions? Start small. Take a moment to pause and observe the world around you. When you eat, really taste your food. When you talk to someone, listen to them completely. When you feel overwhelmed, focus on the single task you can tackle right now. The present is rarely as complicated as your mind makes it seem. These small acts of mindfulness are powerful. They draw you out of your racing thoughts and into the simplicity of the moment. Challenges may come in 2025 as they always do, but they'll feel more manageable when approached one moment at a time. The past is gone, the future uncertain, but the present is always here waiting for you. Choose to live in it. Don't chase approval or fear judgment. It's easy to fall into the trap of measuring your worth by what others think. At first, it might be subtle, a passing comment from a friend, or the pressure to curate a flawless online persona. But over time, this desire for approval can take over, shaping your choices and eroding your authenticity. You hesitate to act, worrying about criticism. You compare your life to the filtered highlights of others, feeling inadequate. In the process, you hand over pieces of yourself, your freedom and your individuality, to the fleeting opinions of others. Stoicism reminds us that seeking approval is not only unnecessary but harmful. You can't control what others think of you. Their judgments are shaped by their own biases, insecurities, and misunderstandings, factors far beyond your reach. Why let something so unstable dictate how you live your life? Imagine your life as a ship navigating the sea. If you constantly adjust your course to follow other people's directions, you'll drift aimlessly, caught in currents you didn't choose. But when you set your own course and steer toward what truly matters to you, you'll feel more grounded. The waves of judgment may still crash against you, but they won't sink you because you know where you're headed. Here's a simple truth: you'll never please everyone. No matter how hard you try, someone will always have a critique, an unsolicited opinion, or a sideways glance. That's their concern, not yours. The Stoics teach us to focus on what we can control, our own actions and choices, rather than wasting energy on what we cannot, like the opinions of others. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? What are my values? When you root your actions in those answers, you'll find a freedom that no amount of external validation can provide. Living free from the need for approval doesn't mean you stop caring about others. It means shifting your focus. Instead of worrying about how others see you, think about whether your actions align with your principles. Instead of fearing judgment, ask yourself, am I proud of how I'm showing up in the world? To break free from the cycle of approval seeking, start by practicing detachment. The next time you catch yourself worrying about someone's opinion, pause and ask, does this opinion change who I am? The answer is almost always no. Another powerful practice is gratitude. Appreciate the people who value you for who you are, not for what you do or how you perform. Spend time with those who uplift you, and let go of relationships defined by constant judgment. When you stop chasing approval, you create space to be yourself, fully and unapologetically. In that space, you'll discover a deeper confidence and peace. You don't need the world to validate you to know your worth. As you move into 2025, let go of the fear of judgment and the endless pursuit of approval. Walk your own path with purpose, and let your actions speak louder than anyone's opinion. Don't let external chaos dictate your inner peace. In today's world, chaos feels relentless. Breaking news, heated debates, endless notifications, and the nagging pull of social media. It's exhausting, leaving many of us feeling anxious, overwhelmed, and untethered. But while you can't control the storm outside, you can control how much of it you let inside. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Yet, too often, we forget this. We surrender our inner peace to external chaos, absorbing every bit of negativity, reacting to every trigger, and replaying arguments long after they've ended. What we fail to see is that we have a choice. The choice to guard our inner world and preserve our peace. Think of your mind as a fortress. A fortress is strong, but it's only as secure as the gates you leave open. If you allow everything to flow in unchecked, the fortress crumbles. But when you carefully guard those gates, you protect your strength and keep your inner world intact. Protecting your inner peace doesn't mean shutting yourself off from the world. It means being intentional about what you allow to influence you. Not every piece of negativity deserves your attention. Not every criticism requires a response. You can pause, breathe, and ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Most of the time, the answer will be no. This isn't avoidance, it's about setting boundaries. In a world that constantly competes for your focus, boundaries are an act of self-respect. Without them, your energy becomes scattered and your clarity fades. Imagine starting your day on your terms instead of letting your phone or the news dictate your mood. Imagine hearing criticism and choosing not to internalize it because you know your worth isn't tied to someone else's opinion. To reclaim your peace, create daily practices that ground you. 1. Morning reflection. Take 5 minutes to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and remind yourself of what you can control. 2. Mindfulness check-ins. Notice when you're feeling overwhelmed and ask, is this mine to carry? If it's not, let it go. If it is, handle it calmly, one step at a time. 3. Journaling. At the end of the day, write down your thoughts to process emotions and clear mental clutter. When you live without boundaries, the external noise drowns out your inner voice. But when you guard your peace, you create a sanctuary of calm within yourself. In this calm, you'll find clarity, focus, and strength. As you step into 2025, embrace this practice. Let go of what doesn't serve you and don't allow external chaos to dictate your inner state. Once you cultivate this calm, you'll realize it's one of the most valuable things you possess, and you won't want to give it up. Thank you for being part of this journey through the 7 Stoic Don'ts for a better life in 2025. We hope these ideas inspire you to build a life filled with purpose, peace, and strength. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little Stoic inspiration. Keep these principles close, stay committed to your growth, and continue building a life rooted in wisdom and resilience.